the channel. Now this is YELLOWHEART, or Pau Amarelo, which is basically Portuguese for yellow wood. So that's exactly what it is. It comes from Brazil in South America, and we've got a nice big cookie to do something with. Now, when you're drying cookies, because of the way the wood contracts as the moisture is being released, you quite often get these kind of cracks stemming out from the pith area. So the first thing we're going to have to do before we do any turning whatsoever is try to make sure that these are structurally sound. Now there's only a couple of these that tend to go through to the other side. As you can see there, I've got this long one here and these little bits here. So what I intend to do is put some tape on the reverse side and then start dribbling in thin CA glue and then start filling up these gaps. I think that's the best way forward to try and make this nice and safe to turn. Right, the cracks that go all the way through are taped over, so I'm just going to start dribbling in super glue into these gaps. I'm not going to hit it with any activator, and try and fill them up almost completely. So as you put the thin super glue on, or CA glue, it will seep into the cracks. You'll see it disappear. So we're going to keep on doing this until it won't accept any more. Okay, I'll let that sit for a while, then I'll keep on coming back and repeating the process until we get all of these full. Okay, we've got the cracks just about filled, certainly, hopefully, well enough to be able to turn this. Now, because we're going to be turning this outboard, because it's too big to turn over the bed, I'll put a faceplate on, but I'm just going to try and position it obviously in the centre, but away from areas where I'd be screwing directly into the cracks. Okay, I'll get this set up for outboard turning. I'll bring you back when that's sorted and I've got the cameras realigned. Okay, we've got everything set up, the cameras are ready, tools sharpened. We can make a start. Just take off the tape. It's good to see that the glue's penetrated all the way through in the deep areas, so we'll see how we get on. I'll be wearing a face shield all the way through, obviously. Turning initially at about 550 RPM. Right, well, we're starting to cut it okay. It's feels a lot harder than it should do. I guess with it being end grain, that's going to give us a few problems of its own. So I'm going to be sharpening up relatively often, I would imagine. Initially, I'm just trying to get this flat as I can, get a feel for the wood, and then we can start shaping. thing does not want to be cut. I'm just going to switch to carbide for a second, just see if I can make some headway in cleaning off this surface. What am I doing? That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm glad the kid outside sounds to be having more fun than I do. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Right, I'm just going to turn on my extraction because the dust coming off this is getting all over the place. I am wearing a mask, but yeah. I've moved on to the Hope hollowing tool. You know, any port in a storm, and it seems to be cutting it okay. I mean, it's impacting the surface at least, which is more than I can say for the other tools. So initially I'm going to do a lot of the work with this saviour, and then hopefully at some point I do want to swap over onto a bull gouge, but we'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to take the bark off so I can cut down a bit of the vibration and try and figure out a good plan of action. Oh my goodness, I can barely see. There's that much of this powder coming off it that it's just absolutely everywhere. My wife's going to go mental when she comes in here. Well, yeah, we've got a technique. We're using the Hope hollowing tool and just working in from this edge, and it is giving us a nice curve. So yeah, we carry on. Sorry for giggling, this is just getting ridiculous. I've never done anything like it. I think if I was able to be in a position where I could turn from this edge in, then I'd have a better luck cutting, because the cut would be supported by the grain going across. But as I'm working this way, it's all unsupported cuts, and it just doesn't like it. I don't think I can get around this side. I don't know. Not a lot of room. My lathe moved so much, it's kind of rolled its way across the floor. Right, I'm going to see if I can just work my way around and do a supported cut with the ball gouge. Right, that worked 100% better. I don't know if you can see it on here, but that cut was an awful lot cleaner, because as you are cutting this way, you've got grain. The grain's all going this way, obviously, but if you're cutting it there, then it's a supported cut. There's grain at the other side of the blade to stop it bending over. If you're cutting this way, it's an unsupported cut. You're cutting loose grains at the top and it's not working. So if I can turn my lathe head a little bit that way, then I can get this side better, I think. Sorry, my wife's just come in and told me that I look like an Oompa Loompa. You know, I've just noticed, I've just picked something off the floor and it fits over the bed now. Now we remove the bark, normal service can be resumed. That is the best news ever. Right, I shall return the cameras to their standard positions and we shall carry on. Normal service has been resumed. Unfortunately, I've just run out of time and I'm going to go and pick up a child from school. So I'll go and do that and we shall carry on when I get back. Okay, personal jobs are done. Now we can carry on. We've got it back into its original orientation, which is brilliant. So I can start working in from this edge with my ball gouge, which is all good. I brought the tailstock back up because yes, we were doing okay without it before, but if there's an opportunity to be safe, then you should always take it. Okay, I've sharpened up and we shall begin again. I'll leave the air off for the moment to see how bad it is. If it gets bad, then I'll turn the suction back on. Okay, those few cuts. Sorry, those few cuts there were beautiful. I like that. Right, I've got a few still bits of bark on here, which I don't know where to leave on or take off. I think these bits here I should take off. So I'll just take that bit further down. I do like to leave a natural edge when possible, but it's not a particularly pretty natural edge, so we'll get rid of that, I think. Right, so I'm giggling because the floor is just now orange. It's the most bizarre. It's a bit like if you've ever turned Paduk, you get this kind of really, almost like a day-glow orange dust from Paduk. And this is the same, but the kind of yellow version. Right, I've just moved the tool rest a bit further around so I can keep this cut going further into the centre. Still got a bit of nastiness on the rim to go, so I'll do a couple of passes on this rim, and then I'm going to create the recess inside here, and then we'll turn it. Well, then we'll sand it, and then put a finish on. I think. But good progress, very good progress. Actually, now we know that we can turn this over the bed. I'm going to put a tenon on here as opposed to a recess, because a recess opens up inside, and obviously if you're squeezing outwards or pushing outwards, then that's going to put extra strain on these cracks, whereas a tenon, the jaws squeeze it, so that'll hopefully hold it together. That's a plan. That's excellent. All right, so we're going to put a tenon in here next, and then, well, first of all I'm going to sort out these corners, and then I'll put a tenon in. A little bit left, but we'll leave that there as a bit of character to the wood. Now when I was flattening off this end to get rid of it, I thought the flat bit looked quite nice, so I just took it a little bit further and just put a little cove in there. Just add a little bit of detail to it. Right, let's think about putting a tenon in here. Excellent. Right, I'm going to set up for sanding. As usual, I'll let you watch a bit of it, but I'll bring you back when it's all done. Right, I'm going to put a sealer on this, and then we're going to go on with an abrasive paste just to fine tune the surface. Okay, now there's a reasonable chance that this is going to be used for food in the future, so we're going to go on with only food safe products. We're starting off with a blonde shellac sealer. I've used this a few times recently, and the reason why it's becoming so popular with me is because it changes the colour of the wood as little as possible. So you try and get it as much of the natural grain colour as you would normally have. It's not like a normal shellac that will dye it a lot darker. It's quite a pretty wood, isn't it? And with this all being end grain, it is going to soak this up quite quickly. So we're going to put 2 or 3 coats on before we go on with the abrasive paste, and let each one harden. I'll bring you back in a couple of seconds when we're ready for the abrasive paste. Okay, we're all ready for the True Grit abrasive paste. I finished sanding at about 400, and this paste will produce a surface finish equivalent to about 1000 grit. So it does pretty well. And I'll put on safety glasses when I'm doing this because I don't want any of this stuff to flip out and hit me in the eyes. Clean off the residue with isopropyl alcohol. You can use denatured alcohol, you know, very, very similar. Okay, and finally we're going to go on with the beeswax and mineral oil finish. We need to make some more of this up soon. This helps waterproof it, protect it, nourish it. It's also fully food safe as well. Mineral oil is just the same as butcher's block oil. It doesn't produce a glossy sheen like you're seeing now. It does dry more of a satin finish. Right, I'll get this turned around and we shall start the inside. Okay, we're all turned around. We've sharpened up. Initially we're going to be turning around 750 RPM, so that's not a bad speed. Start working in from the edges and hopefully we'll have less problems cutting this side than we did the other. The long, nice, slow cuts feel great when you're turning, but the dust that's coming off is really quite hot. It starts to, if I wasn't wearing a glove I'd be alright, but it feels like it's starting to melt the glove. Now when I just started off there, I just got a little catch which has torn out a bit of the wood on these edges, so that's going to need to be reworked, but we'll worry about that a little bit later on. As the grain in this wood is going, this is all end grain, so everything's going that way, so any kind of clip here is going to take out a great swathe of it going that way. But that's okay. Right, so we've flattened the surface off nearly got all of it. So I'm going to start working in and start hollowing this out. Right, I've had to change over to a slightly more robust glove because the superheated shavings coming off this are really quite uncomfortable. So I'm going to sharpen up again and then we shall continue. Okay, right, we've got to the edge here. I'm just wondering about what kind of edge decoration to put on, what kind of lip. So while I've got a quick second, I'm just going to sort out this problem I made for myself with the catch. I'm just taking this edge down a little bit to get rid of those, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do in this little area here. Okay, that's perfect. Got a nice little opposite shaped curve to the base. Looks quite pretty. I might just put a little curve in here as well, and then we can take out the bowl. Okay, we've made some good progress over the last few cuts, so we just need to check and keep an eye on our thicknesses. It's okay. I think we're working from here, take a couple more passes, and then we'll be pretty close to sanding, I think. Let's have another sharpen up first though. Excellent, right, I shall start sanding. As usual, let it watch a bit, then I'll bring it back at the end. Okay, it's all good. We'll put a sealer on, and we'll use an abrasive paste, and then we'll put the final finish. Oh, then we've got to turn it around and take off the tenon. It's all good. Right, it's the blonde shellac sealer that we used before. We'll have a couple of coats of this, I think, maybe even 3. Okay, I'll let this dry, put on another coat or 2, and then we'll put the abrasive paste on. Okay, back on with the abrasive paste. I'm going to have to get on 2 coats of shellac and sealer. I think it's going to be fine. Okay, I'll wipe off the excess with isopropyl. Let that evaporate and then put the finish on. Okay, the same wax as before, just the beeswax and mineral oil. A good healthy amount on to help protect the wood. Fully food safe. Right, I'm going to buff this in, and then off camera I'll quickly take off the tenon, and then we'll take a look at what we've done. There we are. YELLOWHEART or Pau Amarello cookie turned into a nice big platter. The grain's really quite amazing. I did count the rings, and this is about 60 years old, this tree, at the time of processing. We had some fun trying to cut this until we figured out the technique, the best technique, coming in from the sides. After we figured out that, then it was, I won't say plain sailing. We still had to sharpen up an awful lot of times, but it was nice. It was good fun. It's taken that finish very, very well. It's beautifully smooth and silky, and it's going to be quite useful as well. It's fully food safe, so we can use it as a food platter, sandwiches, or anything like that. I do like this one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then I would really appreciate a like and subscribe and all the usual things. And if you leave a comment as well, then you're going to be entered into the giveaway. I haven't quite announced the proviso for the giveaway yet, but if you do leave a comment, then you are going to be entered anyway. Now, when this video comes out, I'm going to be away on my holidays, so please leave a comment and I will get round to replying as soon as I can. I don't know what the reception is going to be like or what Wi-Fi is going to be like where I am, so it all depends on that, but I promise you I will reply. But apart from that, thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.